I'll turn this thing down. Okay. That.
All right, what's going on, folks? JV wins, Dogon SS, another conscious approach video. The day is October 11th. Pleased to have you joining us here as we talk about another week's worth of trending topics going on in culture and society. Before we begin with this week's video, I did want to take the time out to say thank you to all of our recent subs. Certainly appreciate it. And also want to say that if you are not a sub and you are new to this channel, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, like this video. It comes at no cost to you, of course. Comment on this video. We do pay attention. I pay attention. I respond. And, we just certainly appreciate everybody supporting logical content. So I always want to get that disclaimer out there to continue to, help us grow this channel. Slowly but surely, we are hitting the marks, most indeed. So with that out of the way, last week we had a Kanye topic, and I think you had mentioned that Kanye is batting 1,000 on conscious approach topics, and he continues to bat 1,000. At this point, Kanye on this channel is like Barry Bonds if he wasn't using steroids. Like that's how much Kanye is guaranteed to hit it out of the park on this channel. But we are back talking about Kanye once again because he referenced Lizzo in a recent interview that he did with Tucker Carlson. People get mad because Kanye's on doing interviews on Fox News and he's with Tucker Carlson, who's a conservative. We ain't gonna get into all of that. That's not necessarily relevant to this, unless you want to make the case that it is somehow. But Kanye did an interview with Tucker Carlson. This was after the whole White Lives Matter situation. So I think the impetus for his appearance on the Tucker Carlson show was in lieu of the backlash that he was incurring because of White Lives Matter or because of the White Lives Matter shirt that he wore. But, obviously it was a long form interview. So he touched on a lot of other things, including some interesting comments that he made about Lizzo and health and weight loss and how the media tries to weaponize weight loss or lack thereof to sort of, I guess he was suggesting that it was the media's way to try and keep people down, specifically black folks. So I thought that this was real interesting, and I figured we would speak on it a little bit. So we'll go ahead and play a little bit of what Kanye had to say. It's not very long, but you get the gist of what he meant, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Now let's talk about Gabby and my good friend Lizzo. Lizzo works with my trainer, a friend of mine, Harley Pasternak. When Lizzo loses 10 pounds and announces it, the bots, that's a term for people it's like telemarketer callers, like on Instagram, they attack her for losing weight because the media wants to put out a perception that being overweight is the new goal when it's actually unhealthy. Let's get aside the fact of whether it's fashion and Vogue, which is not. Let's just, or if someone thinks it's attractive, to each his own. It's actually clinically unhealthy, and for people to promote that, it's demonic.
Can I ask? Yeah, I've noticed this also.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would want to promote unhealthiness among the population?
It's a genocide of the black race.
Well,
All right. A genocide of the black race. So we've talked about Lizzo before, and I think both of us respectively kind of always made it clear, hey man, to each their own when it comes to their individual preferences. But at the same time, there is something to be said about why we have moved to a point in our current culture where we both believe that body positivity at times gets taken too far in terms of it being spun into something that should be embraced. Like being overweight is not only something that is socially acceptable, but something that folks should aspire to because it's just as good and it's just as beautiful as not being overweight. But Kanye took it in different directions, talking about genocide of the race and all of that kind of stuff. And you've mentioned the point specifically about, hey, health is wealth. So I don't, whatever when it comes to how you feel about people being overweight or not. But what I'm looking at is people need to be more healthy in general. So I just wanted to put that out there because it reminded me of some of the stuff that you had said when we had touched on this type of stuff in the past. But Penny, for your thoughts on what you had to say about Kanye's comments.
Well, needless to say, I agree. And by the way, if you guys have not seen the entire interview, I think they chopped it up in a lot of unnecessary pieces, like it's DJ Vlad or something. But you can still go ahead and watch it. Me personally, I think it's a very powerful interview. He goes on a lot of tangents. He talks about a lot of things, but it's all centered and very centric. One of the more focused Kanye's I've seen in quite a bit. And I think his stint away from the Kardashian family and that influence has really helped him find himself and speak with a bass and a boom in his voice that he hasn't had in a while. And with this topic where he was addressing the obesity, like I said, I agree with it 100%. And it doesn't necessarily have to be obesity. It can just be overweightness. And one thing that I have realized within the black community, I mean, even though this is going on everywhere, but one thing that I did notice within the black community is that there is a healthy portion of sisters in particular who are overweight. And it's I don't know what's going on with that. um you know I've seen women that were, healthy size, and then, give them a few years and they've gotten bigger. And yeah, man, I think that something has to be said. Kanye saying it for the overarching agenda to target black people specifically. I can't really call that one. I don't know where to begin with that. And I'm Mr. Tinfoil Hat guy. So I can't really see that angle. But nevertheless, touching on what we talked about before with the body positivity and all that other stuff, all of those things aid and abet this type of behavior that's going on and is quite rampant. So that those are my initial thoughts on this. But how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, lately I'm team Kanye a lot. I guess I just find I just believe that I'm team common sense. So, you know, unfortunately, diversity of thought is a notion that is suppressed amongst black people, unfortunately. Meaning, if you express an idea that goes contrary to what the collective has been taught to believe, you get deemed an outsider. And I think Kanye is experiencing a lot of that when he expresses his ideas. I think there's a lot of that going on.
Mm.
Now, this really has nothing to do with Lizzo. It's interesting. Lizzo kind of gets introduced into these types of talking points because she's just become the poster child for body positivity, not just for black people but for everybody, it seems, especially for younger generations like the current culture. But this is sort of irrelevant with respect to Lizzo, and there's a general theme here that I do think that we should pay attention to. Like, I've been going to the gym for a long time. So I've been big on the fitness thing for a long time. Well over a decade of my life, I have been in the gym. I've had several gym memberships. I have been big on working out. And the reason why I say that is because I think at this point, being someone who has been in the gym as heavy as they have, I think I've collected enough observational data to surmise who is in these places and who is not. And I've been in multiple gyms in multiple cities, multiple states. So I've seen who goes to the gym and who doesn't over extended periods of time. And you can call me what you want, and you can get mad if you want. I'm merely reporting what I see. And what I see by and large is the least represented group of people in the gym are Black women. Now, overall, I'll say the least represented group of people in the gym, period, is Black people, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm targeting Black women. But within the population of African Americans, if you will, I see for every one Black woman in the gym, there's at least 5 Black men. Black men are in the gym at a pace that far exceeds the rate that Black women are going to the gym for. Now, you can blame that on all you want to blame that on: having kids, raising kids, being a single mother, blah, blah, blah. All the excuses that people have come up with to try and substantiate why this is the facts. The facts are that we, as a subset of American society, represent the least amount of people who have embraced that gym life. And I don't even really think this is me as a psycho. Like, I'm a psycho. I go 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. So I'm an outlier. But generally speaking, I'm talking about just normal 2 days a week for 30 minutes a day type stuff. We don't even do that. And I think it speaks to why I think as a whole, the body positivity contingent in Social Justice America 2022 has swelled to such a sizable portion of the population who like to parrot the speech that looking like Lizzo is just as beautiful as the opposite. Looking like a woman of a more slender frame. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think I know where it comes from. So, I tend to kind of root everything back to a source. And I think a lot of this is rooted in economics. I agree with you. I don't really necessarily see the angle when it comes to Black genocide, as Kanye posited. But what I will say is I do think that there is a concerted effort to maintain the gap between haves and have-nots. I do think that in America, it pays to continue to market certain messages and forms of mind control to disenfranchise people, because disenfranchised people are more easily swayed because they know no better, because they're not a part of the affluent class in America who has the economics and the resources necessary to learn any better. And it just so happens that Black people most disproportionately comprise disenfranchised communities because of, economics, basic economics. Open up any book on economics and you can learn that disproportionately Black people comprise the largest portion of what we would constitute disenfranchised people in this country. And that is what, fast food industry, the consumer industry, all of these various industries market most heavily to disenfranchised people, because disenfranchised people are more likely than not to patronize these various industries, because when you don't have much, you'll spend your money on damn near anything because you don't know no better. And I bring that around to Kanye's point because, Kanye talks about Black genocide. Like you, I'm not going to go that far. But what I will say is I do think that America would prefer for there to be a genocide on behalf of poor people. I do think America does not like poor people. And I think any opportunity that America has to perpetuate certain aspects of American society that target poor people and keeps them poor, they're going to take advantage of that. And health is one of those things. So, I think that there's a genocide on behalf of America towards poor people. And, that is mostly Black and brown people. And when it comes to the health aspect of that, this is why you see a lot of these things going on where you have these forms of mind control that are being put out there in the masses, whether it's on social media, all forms of new media, podcasts, YouTube, and the like, trying to suggest that being overweight is the good thing to do, the right thing to do, the popular thing to do. I think it is one of the covert ways that America is trying to wage upon poor people to keep them poor. And optically, that's going to look like it is Black genocide because, like I said, Black people most disproportionately comprise poor and disenfranchised communities. But I don't think that what he is saying is totally off base. I think it has a lot to do with economics, and I do think that, generally speaking, there is this weird movement going on in westernized society, not just in America, but in all westernized nations, where we're trying to tell people, hey, it's cool to be overweight. Hey, it's cool to not get educated. Hey, um, it's cool to make a living by breaking the law. Watch all your favorite shows on streaming platforms and on cable television. And I think that those are roundabout covert mechanisms that are being subtly introduced into poor communities to keep people poor so that the wealth gap can continue to increase, so that the haves can continue to have more and the have nots can continue to have less. So that was kind of what I gleaned from Kanye's comments. I do think that he's on to something. And I think it has little to do with Lizzo. I think he was using Lizzo as an example to make his point. But I do think that there is some of that going on. And I'm not tinfoil hat either. I'm not tinfoil hat guy either. But it just seems that these sort of things tend to target, disenfranchised people more often than not. And I've just seen this a lot. Like I said, I've been in the gym a lot. I've been on the health kick a lot. You don't see very many Black people in Whole Foods. You don't see very many Black people in Trader Joe's. You don't see very many Black people at farmers markets. There are, but they're sprinkled far and few in between when it comes to, juxtaposed to other groups of people. And I think that, mechanisms that are being put in place to keep poor people poor are exacerbating this dynamic, and I think that the weight and the health thing is a part of that.
Yeah, well said. A few things popped in my head as you were talking. I kind of reached for my tinfoil hat as you were as you were talking. I kind of reached for it, and because I get an angle, and I'll explain that angle. So, I used to, I still do, not as much as I used to, but because I kind of watched them all. But I used to watch a lot of lectures, Afrocentric lectures and stuff like that, and they're just bringing up various topics that's going on in society or what have you. And one of the talking points that were used was that imagery on television and how certain groups of people are portrayed. And if you can think in your mind's eye, I don't know how many, white women are out there that are famous, that are, shoved in people's face, that are overweight. But then you go to, in the Black, community, and Black videos, Black movies and stuff like that, there's the big mama, there's the big loud Black lady, and she's always loud and big. Stuff like that going on in a lot of our stuff. And they also played the angle of you would see these, the white women who are in shape, they're on the front cover of magazines. They're seen as, the quintessential woman in America, that this is the hottest woman, the hottest list of whatever. And it's always those type of prototypical women. And then, but Black people generally, it's not really given to us where we have a super hot Black woman who's leading in Hollywood and all this other good stuff. And so, in Kanye's interview here, he was doing a lot of talking about Hollywood and talking down on Hollywood and how it's liberal and it has its agendas and they push certain ideologies. And so, that may be one of the angles that he was reaching at, as far as how it's promoted more over here than over there. Like when we had brought this up before, I think during the Lizzo conversation, where we were talking about Adele and how Adele was, she was like one of the, the only, white
Mhm.
women out there who was overweight, talented as all get out, but it was a thing. She eventually lost that weight, but people were, and you brought that up in the sense that people were trying to shame her for losing weight.
Yeah.
But
Well, they weren't
still,
trying to, they were. Well,
right.
yeah, she wasn't feeling shame for doing so, but yeah, there was a concerted effort
hmm
to say, "Why did you lose that weight? You used to be one of us." It was very disgusting.
hmm And yeah, and
Yeah.
that's kind of one of those things that I kind of felt too, just watching TV over time. We get better representation nowadays. Not that slender bills is a thing or whatever, but it's just promoting good health. And so the promotion of good health within the community is also an awesome thing. And just like how you mentioned, as far as eating choices, not too many people at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and stuff like that. And I can attest to that. And the times that I sprinkle in there and I try to, do some grocery shopping, it's always all right. Hey, black people in here,
Yeah.
but it's just like, that one
Yeah.
guy with that one lady, it's never really, they're not in there like Piggly Wigglies,
Mhm.
or Kroger's. And
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
options at Piggly Wigglies and Kroger's are far worse. And you know, on a package of anything, there's an entire paragraph of chemicals that nobody can pronounce. And so, of course, those also lead to health issues and things of that nature down the line. And this ties into like food deserts and all this other stuff that
Yep.
people
Yep.
people talk about when it comes to the black community and things of that nature.
Yep.
But culturally, and we always talk about how black people cling too hard to hip hop. I think we cling way too hard on soul food, air quote soul food. And soul food being derived from, well, slave cuisine, and just eating leftovers and eating stuff that other people didn't want to eat. And so the chitlins, the hog mogs and all this other stuff, and the
Yep.
neck bones. Oh
Yep.
yeah, you got collard greens, but you gotta throw some pig in there somehow. You know, you got like stuff like grits. Like, you're just eating nothing. There's no nutrients or anything in there. You're just eating stuff. Biscuits, gravy, you name it. Everything's got butter, cheese, and salt on it. And then we holler and try to figure out why heart disease is so high in our community. Well, it's because we're eating stuff that gives you heart disease. Oh no, I'm genetically predisposed. No, you're culturally
Mhm.
predisposed.
Exactly.
You're eating this stuff because you feel as though this is what makes you black. Sorry, sir, that's not what makes you black. And so when we got all of that rhetoric going on, oh yeah, man, she be throwing down in the kitchen. Oh yeah, what she made? Cornbread, and I love me some cornbread, but still cornbread and some biscuits, some gravy, and starchitarian, starch, pig and meat and fat and butter. And so when that is our cuisine, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that stuff going on. Men in general, it's a testosterone thing. We just want to get active and we just want to move around, and we just do that. And it's kind of a natural thing. And being in shape as a man is kind of important, So we take an emphasis on that. And for sisters, there's this thing where it got real convoluted between uh thickness and overweightness. And oh yeah, I'm thick. And it's like, no, you're overweight. There's women that are thick, and then there's women that are overweight. So and by the way, I gotta give this disclaimer. And so I've said this before, I have no problem when it comes to, bigger size women. I've dated them. All right. So I don't have a problem with that. It's more cushion for me, if you know what I'm saying. But overall, I want them to get healthy though, because this is fun now for me. But over time, it's like, all right, if we get old together, how is this going to shape out? How is this going to look when, we're trying to reach 60 and 70 years old? Those things don't really pan out that well. So, health complications are soon to ensue if these things persist. So it's not that I'm trying to shame people, make people feel bad. I want people to get healthy, man. And just like how Kanye said, it's clinically unhealthy. I'm not, he's not saying this because, oh yeah, those people over there look hotter than our people. No. It's our people are sick and in hospitals. And what leads to that is this mentality of just allowing it to be okay. So again, I'm not hollering from the rafters to make anybody feel bad or sideways, anything like that. The only thing I'm saying is get healthier, So
Yeah, I agree. The reason why I won't go so far as to say it's it's interesting. Like, it's a nuanced issue, right? Because I can say that I don't think something is. I can say that something is not rooted in any sort of racial component. However, if I believe that it's rooted in economics, like I said, on the back end, there are racial manifestations of that, because economics does have, you know what I'm saying? Like, economics is rooted in certain racial parameters, right? So, but the reason why optically I won't say that it is rooted in any sort of racial attack is because of the example that okay, so you mentioned Adele. Adele was one of the big examples that I point to. Another one that I point to is Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson was the big girl who was in the Pitch Perfect movies. So she lost a ton of weight, and she was attacked for it. And she was attacked because, much like Adele, that the social justice 2022 body positivity contingent saw that as, we just lost one of our champions, and people feel aggrieved because of that. They didn't like it, and those are two Caucasian women. So I think across the board, it's more of an economic observation than it is a racial observation. But you'll see more of it playing out with Black and brown people specifically, because there's just more poor, disenfranchised, overweight, lacking in resources Black and brown people in the world. So that's kind of why I do believe it's an economics issue, but I do think that it's a real thing that is happening. I do think that in our current culture, where it's all about anarchy, and it's less about maintaining any sort of moral decorum. We just want to strip everything down and make it we just want to make it a no holds barred grudge wrestling match, where we don't care about rules or decorum and morals, and it's just, hey, everybody do what you want to do and live how you want to live, and we will love you all the same for it. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I per se do not have an issue with overweight people or women, but what I have a problem with is you trying to chastise me for having my preferences when it comes to physical standards. That's where I say, okay, well, let's back up. Like, I never said at any point that I had an issue with you or what you like to do in terms of your weight or your shape. But if I am entitled to my preference, I'm going to have them. So you can't really then reserve the right to have an issue with me because of what my preferences are. So that's kind of where I have an issue when it comes to that. And I've run into that several times throughout my lifetime, where people will kind of come at me in a sort of judgmental tone because I choose to embrace the fitness life and they don't. And it's like, look, don't have a problem with me and my preferences. All that, if you do, it just kind of speaks to whatever your insecurities are, and that's a you problem. That's not a me problem. But otherwise, as long as we can agree to that, I don't have an issue with what anybody does when it comes to their weight or their body type or whatever. But I do think that Kanye is onto something when it comes to there's something going on in this country with this stuff, and I think it's adversely affecting people from low income communities. That's my personal inclination. I think the reason why you see more of the hot people in Hollywood or whatnot that you referenced previously that come from, other communities, whether they're white, Latino, even Asian, is because there's more of those groups of people who don't reside on a low socioeconomic ladder. And so they're less susceptible to being told that it's okay to be this way. And I don't know whether Kanye was getting at that, but I interpreted that from what he said, because I do think that that's a real thing. Like I said, I've been going to the gym for many, 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 many years, and overall, my people are the least represented group of people in these places, and specifically Black women. And I don't want to hear anything about food or genetic predisposition. I don't want to hear nothing about any of that, because it does not excuse the sheer gap that exists between representation of Black females versus females from other communities. It doesn't explain it. Like, it might explain if the ratio was like 2-1 or even 3-1, non-Black women versus Black women in the gym, I might entertain that. But the gap is so huge. It's more like 6 or 7 or 8-1. And that gap is too wide for me to believe that some of these rationales go so far as to provide a justification for why we aren't in there, embracing more of a fitness lifestyle and being more of a health oriented individual collectively as people than these other groups of people. There's something else going on. And I personally think that it's rooted in economics. And that's what I took from what Kanye has to say. And I don't think that he's wrong with that.
No, you nailed it. It's a lot to do with economics. And so it's a lot to do with economics and a lot to do with cultural beliefs, as I mentioned. And
Right.
so when I look at other people's culture, so I moved out here to Texas. Yeah, I'm in Texas, y'all. Whoa. So I moved out here to Texas. So I grew up in South Florida. There's a lot of Hispanic people there, but not many Mexicans. So I moved out here to Austin, and there's Mexicans everywhere. There's more in San Antonio for what I hear, right? But there's a lot of them here, and there's a lot of Mexican food. I love Mexican food, but Mexican food don't love me, so I can't eat it as much. All right, but whenever I'm eating like Mexican food or Hispanic food in general, it's cheating. I say it's cheating. They got beans in there, they got rice, they got a healthy amount of chicken, and it's cheese, for the little whatever, and it's in a wrap. So it's not very heavy starchy breads, it's in a wrap. And then they eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's very balanced. It's very balanced food throughout the day. So even if they eat a lot, they're not eating like it's crazy fatty, it's within their culture. It's built in that they can maintain a healthy, balanced diet, basically. And same thing with Asian people. There's always something green on their plate. They're always putting vegetables or something in there, and it's whatever. I don't know how many Black people I done ran across where they don't want to eat vegetables. Now, I know this goes across other communities, not just Black, but I talk to Black people.
Right.
And so when I'm hanging around and they just don't like vegetables, I say, you don't eat anything green? They don't eat anything green. And it's like, well, what do you eat? And you look at their diet, it's just starch and meat and cheese. And it's just over and over and over again. And so culturally, our diets are out of whack. And it's like I said, we subscribe way too much to soul food, which I have grown to not like that term anymore. And to speak on the socioeconomic part, so just like how you mentioned, man. So there's people who are Hispanic and stuff like that who ain't got it. But like I just said in my last point, their culture has a diet that makes sense. There's people who live in the islands who they ain't got it, but their diet makes sense. I mean, it's fruits, it's vegetables, it's greens. They got a little stuff over here, a little stuff over there too, but it's a lot more balanced. But here in America, when it's just soul food, and that's it, man, that stuff is death cuisine.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that stuff either. So somebody can say, well, I know some people who ain't got money and they not overweight and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's what they decide to eat. But overall, as an overarching cultural way of going about life, if you want to look at Black people in America, they have an unhealthy diet overall. And if they incorporated more healthy stuff, but everything that they have, like I said, that's green, they throw fat in it, and that's
Yeah.
not the answer. So yeah, I think this is a lot more nuanced than I thought it would have been. There's a lot of angles to this, but I think we hit some good angles to this to just to open some people's minds on if they haven't already thought these things. And if we're giving
Yeah.
you guys some confirmation bias, right on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're all on the same page here with that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just, and even, because I agree wholeheartedly with the cultural diet part, but it's like, even if you do believe in like the soul food and all of that kind of stuff, it is what it is. But like mixing activity into your life in order to balance and offset that goes a long way.
Yeah, it
And I
does.
just feel like a lot of us, we ain't in a gym. We ain't
Mhm.
really doing it like that. And I don't want to hear from the small percentage of Black people out there, Black women especially, who want to come out of the woodwork. Oh, I'm in the gym, ma'am. You're an outlier. Okay. You know damn well that when you go to the gym, you might see maybe one or two other women who look like you in that whole building full of hundreds of people. Okay. So there's something going on with us where we just ain't about that gym life. And that I don't agree with. Um, I do think that there's something to be said about the whole exercise and fitness aspect of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know so much that Kanye called it, genocide of the Black race or whatever he said. I don't know that it's so much Black genocide, but I do contend that I do think that it's economics genocide.
Yeah.
Um, and it affects everybody who exists in that ecosystem, which is a lot of Black people, brown people too, but more disproportionately Black people. So that's why it's important. Again, people get turned off. Kanye's gotten to the point now where he's such a pariah. Anytime he says something, because people are so mad at things that he said in the past, they don't want to take what he's saying in the moment and determine how much sense it makes. They just automatically want to disregard it because it's him. But this is another instance in which I think he's saying something that is true and that's happening, whether people want to listen to it or not.
No facts, and
Um,
I'll just say this, and this will be my last point. And I forgot what year I said this. This is some years back, but it really dawned on me because I think that's when I first started going to Whole Foods, and I started eating food out of there, and I was like, I feel better. I wasn't eating crazy stuff, at least I didn't think. But then I started eating the same kind of stuff, but from Whole Foods, and I felt cleaner.
yeah,
But the prices at that time were out of my budget, and I was like, I can't keep this up, you know. And that's when I said, this is a life. What they've turned groceries into, what they turn food into, it's a survival game, and you have to be able to afford to eat healthy. And because even if you do eat greens and stuff like that from Piggly Wigglies, it's probably some conspiracy greens, hit with too many pesticides or something crazy. You're gonna feel that down the line. And so finding your way to more organic and cleaner foods to eat, it is the way to go. Eventually your body breaks down eating all that crap from the regular grocery store. And there has to be a decision made to go different. Now, I've seen all kinds of stuff where people talk about, well, organic still gets sprayed with pesticides, and yeah, it does, but not some of the illegal ones or the crazy ones that. So it's pick your poison, no pun intended, or pun intended, but still, it's a money game where you have to be able to afford to eat better over time, and that has to be a goal in life to eat cleaner and eat better. and shop better. But yeah, all of those things, man, with those packages with paragraphs on the back of it, and it was just trail mix. You thought it was just trail mix, but there shouldn't. It should say walnuts, almonds, cranberries, or whatever. That's all it should say. It should not have other things on there. And when you have a whole entire paragraph of words you can't pronounce on something that's pretty basic, a honey bun, for instance, that's the things that should be avoided. And so, yeah, it's a money game when it comes to being able to eat healthy. It's a money game in order to have gym memberships, even though you don't need a gym membership to work out. And one more thing, man, this is so deep, bro, because
yeah, we gotta keep it moving, man. We gotta.
I know. One more thing. When I moved out here to Austin, in the neighborhood that I moved in, everybody's outside walking their dogs. I live in an area that's predominantly, white. Everybody's outside walking their dogs, jogging, and everybody. And it's like, I don't see this. I don't see this from where I came from. But there's a level of, when they're jogging and running and walking dogs, there's a level of my bills are paid when they're doing that. There's a level of I'm good while I'm doing that. And for a lot of the people that I knew from the areas that I hung out in, they had a lot more stuff on their mind and a lot more stuff on their plate than to be doing the jogging at 6 a.m. or what have you. So it's a lot of variables that play into this. So I'm not casting stones. I'm not out here trying to say I'm better than or anything like that. I just think that this is an interesting topic that our people need to have a lot more of, so we can get out of this little funk that we're in, because we're definitely in a funk. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that's why you basically just summed it up. I believe that this is an economics dynamic. It's
right,
not really a racial one, but it yields racial results on the back end, but it's rooted in economics. But these forms of mind control, which say, hey, be big, it's okay, we love you and it's great, you look just as good as a slim model even if you're big, all of these lies, poor people are more susceptible to those because they're already living that reality.
right,
So it's easy to continue to do it when you're being fed messages that reinforce it. So, it's something going on, man. It's a lot, culture, diet, all of that, but there's also a targeted effort to maintain that gap between the haves and have-nots, and this is a part of it too. So,
word.
and kudos to people like Lizzo. Lizzo actually tries to do, and Lizzo, like I said, Lizzo gets brought in as like the poster child for a lot of these discussions. She's more of an innocent bystander. This is more of a referendum on what's going on in general.
Yeah,
And I done seen it. We got to do better when it comes to that stuff. We really do. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about TikTok or Tay Tay. No, so we done talked about Tay Tay before. Tay Tay be speaking that real on TikTok. And she's once again going in on women for being unreasonable, I guess is a good way to describe it, towards men. A lot of this stuff is rehashed, but it nevertheless is never a bad thing to use new pieces of content in order to reinforce a lot of the stuff that we've been saying for a while now. And Tay Tay is on that wavelength. She is not somebody who is an apologist for modern women. She is actually someone who holds modern women to account for the ideology of modern women, which is, to say it's a bit of a problematic ideology. I think many of us could agree. But we'll go ahead and play what she had to say in this particular clip. There was some chick who made a TikTok talking about how a dude needs to be able to spend money, blah blah blah, and she basically is saying, "Yo, you need to chill because this is why you're dealing with what you're dealing with." So go ahead and play it. We'll talk about it.
As a woman, you should not be broke.
Yup.
And if you can't ask any guy in your contact list for money, you need to delete them all. Delete them all. Get rid of them all. Waste men. Those are waste men. There's no difference between you and the pretty privileged girls that you see online. You got the game all messed up. These broke men really made y'all believe that asking means you're begging because they want to get what they want from you for free. Think that asking a man for money means you're begging? Then I'm sorry, sweetie. You're going to be last in this game. And you wonder why the men that you attract are all feminine.
Wow, you almost had me in the beginning. Mamacita, beautiful chocolate queen. Give me that mic. What the heck are you doing, girl? I was with you all the way up until you started saying that. One of the things a lot of women say is that men want something from you. And I know the want you're talking about, that starburst. So you're willing to exchange that for money. Doesn't that make you a GTA stripper? Doesn't that make you a streetwalker of the night? Hey, you said it. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm okay with taking criticism. And if I'm wrong, I'll say it. But you said it. That's how I'm thinking. Now, all jokes aside, do you guys see why men feel so belittled, so used, and like nobody cares about them and nobody wants them only solely for their money? Do you get why men probably don't put in as much effort? Because when you see the energy is not reciprocated, what do you think they do? Oh, I'm going to go full hard for this girl. No, what's the point? I'm not getting love in return. I'm not getting anything in return. And then when women make videos like this, you're making it harder. You're making it harder for people to want to find love and want good women. Because good women don't just use somebody. Yes, I'm okay with a woman being traditional and being the stay-at-home mom, getting taken care of, but you're doing your part. You're taking care of that man. You're feeding him. You're loving him. You're reciprocating the energy. It's a love exchange, baby. We not users. We not leech. Well, at least I'm not. And then she keeps saying broke. You're the one who's asking for money, and he's the broke one. Oh my God, hold on. Now, calling somebody broke constantly, dude, you are the brokey. You don't even have money. You're asking somebody for money, and then you're roasting them or getting mad at them because they don't give you money. Who do you think you are? You women are so entitled and think somebody has to give you a handout and give you money and all that, but yet you put in no effort. And then I'm sorry, like, what is the point of these type of videos? I'd be embarrassed to make a video like this. Asking for a handout, fair change? No, dude, stop. And I just get really bothered at seeing a lot of women that don't understand how powerful they would be if they pushed themselves to do better, be greater. You guys, I'm almost close to making 6 figures just doing this influencer thing. And I don't show my body. I don't ask for handouts. I did it all on my own. Podcast coming probably the beginning of October, y'all. Come on, work, ladies. Damn, stop being lazy.
Well said, sister. Well said. I ain't even have to straighten her. She straightened her for me.
Oh, well, yeah. So go ahead. I don't know whether you want to address what she said. Obviously, you agree with her or what the initial video was, which was completely and utterly disgusting, but also
disgusting.
very common, unfortunately. But yeah, thank goodness that there are some glimmers of hope out there. But go ahead.
So shout out to Tay Tay. I didn't know that was her name. Shout out to her for cleaning that up for us. But yeah, that first, I want to address that first comment. And that first comment, it, like you said, it was disgusting. It is gross. She was speaking with such confidence and vigor about her stance, and that's a rhetoric that's a lot more prevalent than all of us would like. And if it's not that version of it, because that wasn't even extreme. Maybe she cut off before she got extreme. But there's a lot of women who feel that way or damn near close to that. And they may not articulate it to you as a man, but their actions damn well show that. It has become very apparent to me in the dating scene that men have become ATM machines. and I'm supposed to cash out for them to eat Olive Garden or Papados or whatever the hell else that they have a taste for. Food that they wouldn't buy on their own budget. I gotta pay for that. We gotta go places that she can't really go, but I gotta pay for it. Like, she wants to travel, but it's gotta come out of my pocket. And it's just like, yo, what is all of this? And there's a lot of that going on. Part of it, I understand the fact that, in the air quote traditional sense that, men are men and men pay and all this other stuff. But it has now turned into a cash grab and a finesse. You're not getting any value on the back end of any of this. You're literally just throwing money away. And with those types of women. And honestly, I don't really understand, me personally, for a woman like that speaking so aggressive. There's no way in hell that will last past a second conversation. Like, I would not even talk to that person again, because and it's not even gold diggerish. Because if you say gold digger, they're gonna be like, "You broke though." Broke in the sense of I'm not six figures and I'm not a millionaire.
Exactly.
So there's no way.
I was gonna touch on that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
there's no way they can be a gold digger because I'm broke. But it's what else are you doing if you're coming after the little shekels that I do have? And if I do have, I don't have a whole, Fort Knox thing going on in my bank account, but I got something, and you trying to take my something, my last, just so I can prove or whatever, or just so I can trick off. There's no real meaning behind it besides tricking off. So, I mean, hell, I got more, man, but how do you feel? This is disgusting to me, at least that
Yeah,
initial woman.
it is. It is very disgusting. It's very disgusting, and it's emblematic of how women who conduct their dating lives on the internet think. Um, these are the mutated fish that you referenced in the video that we did last time. Like, these are the power plant women who are just so far removed from reality that it's beyond the pale. It's interesting. So a chick like this is the same woman who will get on a podcast and talk about how she can't find a good relationship and how all men ain't nothing. These are the same women who will peddle this stuff
No way.
into the no, they will though. They will, because they'll get on somebody podcast,
Yeah,
somebody
I
will put a
know.
microphone in front of their face and ask them questions about relationships and their status and all of this kind of stuff, and they'll talk about how relationships are this and that, and how men are this or that, and that's the reason why they do this. So it ain't them, it's everybody else. And like, the thing about it is, yes, your relationship life is utterly dysfunctional because you get cheated on all the time. And you get cheated on all the time because you make yourself exclusively available to a profile of guy that constitutes, in any given population, maybe 10% at the most. So all of y'all are after these same dudes. There's no incentive for these guys to not cheat on you. And then when you get cheated on and you fulfill your own prophecy, you turn it around and you say, all of these men are doing this, so I might as well go ahead and trick myself off, because if I'm going to get cheated on, I might as well get money in lieu of getting cheated on. It is a completely backwards ideology. It makes no conventional sense, but they believe this way because they have ingratiated themselves with conducting their dating lives on the internet. With essentially, it's funny. Like, I've gotten to the point because I can just hear, I can look at that clip, the first clip, and I can just hear the city girls coming out of her.
Ugh.
I can hear the Cardi B, the Megan Thee
Ugh.
Stallion, the Saweetie, the Glorilla. I can hear them coming out of her. I can hear it. I can hear it. She probably listens to this trash all day, every day.
Yeah,
She
man, that's her
probably,
anthems.
she probably listens to that Mind Control all day, every day. all day, every day. And I've gotten to the point now, and it's funny that I'm saying this, but I'm also serious. Like, I've gotten to the point now where I vet any girl that I meet. And if she listens to hip hop or rap, I don't even want to deal with you, because I'm going to assume that you listen to this BS. I'm going to assume that you listen to this trash. And if you listen to this trash, I'm going to assume that you have that type of ideology. And the thing about it is, and I've said it before, see, where people get this stuff twisted, where women in particular get this stuff twisted, I've never had an issue with women going for guys who are on the move. I have never had an issue with women saying, I don't want to date a guy who's broke. I've never had an issue with that. I've never had an issue with women saying, I'm not dating broke men. I'm not dating men who aren't building their resources, who aren't moving towards a singular goal. I've never had an issue with that. The problem is, broke to a chick like this is a guy who makes $80K a year. That's broke to her. Lame to a chick like this, a lame guy is a guy who earns a salary and gets 20 paid vacation days off. He just has to like put his request in before he can actually get 2 weeks off at a time to take you halfway around the world with your spoiled ass. And that's what I call hypergamy, and that's what we got going on. So unless I'm 6'6" and making 100K a year, I am broke. That's the mentality of chicks like this, and that's the mentality of these chicks who spend too much time on their phone and too much time listening to poisonous, questionable music that tells them that they're supposed to be adhering to a certain or a particular type of ideology. And these role models that y'all pay attention to, all of these women are in toxic marriages and relationships where they're getting cheated on and getting domestically and emotionally abused left and right. So this is what you want to aspire to, also that you can get a guy who can give you a Gucci bag from time to time. Like, good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, good luck with that. Like, that's the issue that I got with this. The hypergamy, the unreasonable expectations, the delusions of grandeur. And it's just, there are so many of these chicks walking around out here who think that what she said makes sense. And like I said before, when they fulfill their own prophecy and they get dogged out by these guys who have no incentive to commit to them because they have all the options in the world, they'll turn it around and make it about the men. No, ma'am, that was about you and your horrible decision making. But this is where we are. And so appreciate Tay Tay for making that video. Don't know how many women are receptive to what she has to say, because so many of these chicks are so delusional. And the problem is they'll meet these simps who make a lot of money and will spend money on them, and it will just affirm their ridiculous beliefs. And then the situation blows up in their face and they just go back to square one and they do it all over again, as if they're running in some, demented materialistic hamster wheel. And they just repeat their cycle, and they're so entrenched in what they think that they'll just turn it around and make it about men, when really it was about it was just about your bad decisions, your poor decisions. It's sad, it's unfortunate. I have met women who think this way. They gross me out. I feel like I need to take a shower whenever I'm within 5 feet of them. I just feel dirty whenever I'm around them. And if an asteroid, struck this planet tomorrow and killed off all of the women who think like this, I think we'd all be better for it.
That got morbid real fast. No, but I feel you, man. Like I still think, now I think that the first woman, I think that is a growing population. I still feel like there's a lot of women that are on the fringe of that, who take from that kind of lifestyle but aren't full Megan Thee Stallion with it yet. But still they feel that and they live it out. I've dated them, and it was before Megan Thee Stallion. It's just that now these artists are actually making anthems and gospel for these women to follow, and now they've been picking that up, and the ones that were already way out of there, they're just they just adopted it in the city girl stuff and they're just running rampant with it. This can only beget more foolishness. I can tell you that right now. There's no redeeming qualities from anything that woman said. Now, as far as what Tay Tay had to say, I still think there's a healthy number of women who agree with her. I think that the Megan Thee Stallion types are, like I said, growing, but still the minority. They're just a loud minority. And the women that are well-to-do may not even have social media accounts. If they do, they're not as active on it. But the ones that are out of there, they're on social media, and they're making posts like this. And so I haven't given up all hope on women yet. I still think there's a lot of rational ones out there. But for these women that are promoting this stuff, I mean, I really don't. I mean, I know what that lifestyle leads to eventually. And like you said, man, either verbal, physical abuse, single, late in their years, multiple baby fathers,
child support out the ass, all of that.
child support. That's just another lick for them, right? That's child support. That's just another check that they ain't have to work for.
Yep.
Disgusting. And it's just gross. So, yeah, man, I needless to say, I am not a fan of this type of rhetoric nor behavior. And like you said, man, yeah, in that woman's world, 80K ain't enough. It's not enough for a man to be making. And hell, man, it's hard out here. And it's hard out here. And if you pulling in 80, hey man, you doing all right for yourself, bro. So pat yourself on the back.
That's more than all right. That's a lot more than all right.
Yeah, so pat yourself on the back, bro, and avoid these type of scammers, because she's just a walking scammer, and she's just out here to finesse. And honestly, bro, like, what can they provide? I've been around women where they just extracting from me. Not finances, because I don't play that. I'll spend money over here, over there, but they're extracting me. They're getting me. And my counseling sessions, my creativity, my positive energy. And they just want that and extract. That's my wealth. That's my Fort Knox. And then those women try to steal that. So I've gotten over that. And so now my whole thing is like, what are you bringing to the table? I don't need nobody to cook for me. I don't need nobody to clean for me. I'm a grown ass man.
Right.
I can take care of myself. I pay my own bills. I handle everything myself. And so I don't need a caregiver. I need somebody around me that's actually solid and that can hold down their side of the street, because I'm holding down mine. But that old fashioned, I guess, reciprocity, hey, I give a little, you give a little, and we both living like that. I guess that's becoming really old fashioned. But the ironic part about these women who claim that they don't like traditionalism, but the only traditionalism they do subscribe to is that the man has to be chivalrous and break bread all day long. That is hella ironic, and it doesn't make any sense at all. So for those types of mega thoughts that are out here just thoughting it up, fellas, treat them accordingly. If you want to dabble into that, hey, teach their own, bro. But use a 10-foot pole. Do not get into that. I know people that get way too deep into those shallow waters, if you know what I'm saying. And so just steer clear from any of those city girls types of women, and you should be pretty good to go, man. And even though that is a modern woman, that's definitely in the modern woman Bible. That was some verse out of there, probably in Revelations, I'm sure. But still, not every woman that's a modern woman feels that extreme level. But like I said before, it is growing, and it's enough of modern women who do speak like that. So Shout out to Tay Tay or any other woman that agrees with her and thinks like her and talk like her. Yeah, you guys are the real MVPs. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I do agree that it's a vocal minority, but man, that when they get vocal, it's so loud that you just it's so loud that you just hope that they aren't influencing one of those women who are on the fringes and can go either way, because they are extremely loud. But I am inclined to think that even still it's the vocal minority. But I just think that this stuff is growing. And we talk often about mind control, and the more that this mind control and this music and this entertainment becomes more and more a part of the mainstream collective consciousness, I think you're going to have a lot of this become more and more normalized.
Yeah.
And so that part of it is frightening. But yeah, reciprocity is a big deal. Please understand that there is no difference between, like, for women who think this way, there is really no discernible difference between them and actual sex workers,
Right.
prostitutes, escorts. There's literally no difference. When you say, in order for you to have this, you need to spend this much money. When you have
Right.
when you put a physical price tag on your
Right.
presence and your physical contact, you might as well consider yourself to be a sex worker. That's
Bro,
what you are.
I wouldn't be surprised if some women keep track of how much money the guy has spent, and she's
They
not going to
probably,
get
yeah. I wouldn't deny that they have a book
a tracker.
that sort of, yeah. I wouldn't doubt that. And the thing is, a lot of them deal with multiple men at the same time, so they probably keep a running tab on who spent what, and who needs to spend this much because this guy spent this much more, and so you need to do. It's crazy. Like, good luck with that. I just want to say that you fulfill your own prophecy when it comes to your relationship failures by living this way. Because you're doing the same thing over and over again, and your delusion puts you in a headspace in which you are deflecting instead of taking responsibility for the role that you play and how your life has turned out. So you can run around talking about how all men cheat all day long if you want to, but all y'all want to date a guy who's a 100K a year guy. 100K a year guy has options too, and I don't care what you say. Guy who has several options is not incentivized in any kind of way to choose you over the 5 or 6 other women that he can choose, because what do you do that's so different or special? Nothing. All you guys are doing is offering the same thing, which is your existence and your vagina. And look, God didn't stop making vaginas when he made yours. So you can keep listening to all of these. You can keep listening to all of these rappers if you want to, and you'll stay right where you are, and you'll be a 37-year-old single mother with 2 kids, and then you'll decide that you want to do right after you've hit the wall. And no self-respecting guy is going to accept that trade-off.
Facts, bro. Ain't no box out there that's just a box that I'm paying that much money for. If I'm a 6-figure plus man, I'm just paying for a box. You don't do nothing else. And that girl that was leading off, that girl offers zero value to anybody she's talking to. There's nothing she can bring.
To her presence is what she offers. It's her existence. And that's this thing. That's why, like, Tay Tay used a great word when she said entitled. Mm-hmm. That is a sense of entitlement when you believe that merely being there is in and of itself its own reward. And that's what they believe, is that their mere presence, their existence is its own reward.
Delusion.
And when you get so far gone in your mind that you really do think that that's true, you deserve everything you get, in my opinion.
Factual, bro. I mean, again, bro, if there's a box sitting in my room and there's nothing I can do with that box, I open the box, there's nothing in it. It doesn't do anything. It's just there. And it's like, how much am I paying per month for this? And the figures get to running. It's like, there's no way I'm paying for this box. And it's just, she's just glorified masturbation for me. I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
She probably has an OnlyFans page. She probably does OnlyFans or something like that. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, if she were smarter, she would.
She would, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was so frustrated. That's why she died, because she broke. That's why she telling, and she broke. She just finished dealing with a broke dude, and now she hurting. Yeah, so now she getting on the internet. Let me give the ladies something. Let me tell these ladies something. Dealing with these broke people. Why? What happened? Bro got that box for free. And she mad. Girl, go on.
Yeah. You need to have a seat. You need to take a knee on that. Like, be like Kaepernick and take a knee for real.
Yeah, ladies, if you're watching this, I know y'all not one of them. Thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hope you already hit the subscribe button, but thank y'all for not being like them.
Yeah, like the video and all of that. Yeah, we do for real.
Mhm.
All right, and shouts out to Tay Tay. That was, she be bringing the heat. I hope she says she making almost 6 figures doing what she's doing. I commend you for it. I wish you all the success in the world. Next up, we are going to talk about. Okay, so first off, before we get into this, let me go ahead and remind everybody, if you're watching this video, subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification for all new content that gets published to the channel. We certainly appreciate you supporting logical content. Please like this video. Certainly appreciate that as always. And just I thank you very much so for your support and patronage of the channel. Certainly appreciate it. We do this every week, and we are going to up the ante. We're making some improvements, some changes. We in this. We like what we do. We believe in it, and we enjoy it. So if you like being a part of this community as we continue to grow it, man, hit that subscribe button so that you can get these notifications. Yes. Now, with that being said, next up we are going to talk about this no voting, no vucking. That is Vucking, Vucking. I want to make it clear. I'm not opposed to using the other word, but I'm just saying that's not what I use in this instance. No voting, no vucking. Apparently, this is some hip hop thing in conjunction with the DNC to get people encouraged to vote. When you sent me this, bro, I almost threw up in my mouth. Seriously.
Sorry,
so we are going to talk about this. So yeah, whenever you want to go ahead and stop it, we don't need to play the whole thing. Whenever you want to stop it, go ahead and stop it. But we'll go ahead and play this. I don't know who Saucy Santana is, but I know who Trina. I know who Trina is. Trina is a part of this. No voting, no vucking. So go ahead and hit it.
Trey Tracks, I think we got one.
It's voting season, bruh.
No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no loving. No voting, no touching. No voting, no nothing. No voting, no fucking. No voting, no fucking. BLK app looking for some action. Find out how we stop what's happening. Face is a 9, abs a 10, D is a to be determined. He got mad jokes. He don't.
Legs in the air, I don't care. Anyone could get it, universal health care. If you want to come before the deadline. Come in the jacuzzi, gerrymander this coochie.
No voting, no love, no voting. No.
Gerrymander this coochie. I don't even know what the hell that means. Okay, so
it doesn't. If you actually know what the word gerrymandering means, that doesn't make any sense. But the thing, I would imagine a lot of people who, it is what it is. I would imagine a lot of fans of this don't know what gerrymandering means. I'm just gonna put that out there. You can throw that in the boat with other political terms that we should know more, like filibustery. They probably don't know what that is.
Right. She said her homegirl puts the bi in bipartisan.
Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, that is that's it.
No vucking.
No voting, no vucking. Yeah, Saucy Santana, whoever that is, and Trina. What do you make of this? of this craziness?
Now, the first thing that popped in my head was the Vax That Ass Up by Juvenile. Did you see that? The Vax That Ass Up? Boy, you got to see that. I might have to pull that up. So, in the height of African Americans being suspicious of the vaccination, the BLK app, same people, commissioned Manny Fresh and Juvenile to come out with a remix to back that ass up. And it was indeed called Vax That Ass Up. And I think there was a line in there where there was like, I don't remember. I'm not gonna botch it, but it was so cringe. And for me being a Juvenile fan, at the time, I was highly disappointed. But again, why am I getting disappointed with celebrities? Because, well, they'll do anything for $1. And Trina, the Diamond Princess herself, right? The queen of city girling. She's the one that was actually promoting these anthems when nobody else really was. And so even though she has that history, me being a fellow Miamian, she still was like a cousin. So I didn't like what she did, but that's my cousin, man. Don't leave her alone. But after this, the same type of thing where I felt with Juvenile was like, how can you be disappointed in people when they'll do anything for $1? And this here was honestly one of the most disrespectful. The Vax That Ass Up was disrespectful too. And I'll pull that up as you go on your point. But it's so embarrassing. There's no other group of people doing this. And for them to target us like this is disrespectful. And you say, well, BLK is a black dating app. The black people did this. And it's just like, I looked up the founder for BLK. It's a black dude, but it's under the parent company, the same people who make Tinder and Match.com or whatever. So I don't think a black person runs that. So I think this is more of a ploy from the DNC, right? The Democratic National Convention. And I think that this is one of their liberal ploys to get a certain demographic to vote Democratic this midterm election and future elections. So black women vote. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I can tell you black women vote, and they vote a lot. And also the LGBT community does a good job of showing out at the polls. So this video here features a black woman who's LGBT friendly, and Mr. Santana, who I'm sure is very friendly to the LGBT community. Right. So this one here is targeting two demographics specifically. All right. And I saw some comments in the comment section that proves my theory correct. Of course, we had the people making fun of it and calling it out, but there was still a lot of yeses in there and saying, yeah, you killed it, and it's like, who's saying this? It's the bots that Kanye was speaking about in his first in the first little segment that we had. But I got more things to say, man, but I'll let you go ahead and whip something up real quick while I pull up the Vax That Ass Up. You got to see it.
No, don't. I don't want to see it. Don't worry about it. I don't want to see it. I don't. One of these is enough for me for one night. I'll look at it on my own time. So last week we talked about Kanye wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, and obviously black people got mad. Meek Mill's mad at him. Kareem Biggs Burke mad at him. Diddy, all the black people mad at Kanye wearing the White Lives Matter shirt, right? So why are people mad that Kanye is wearing a White Lives Matter shirt? Well, they're upset because they believe that Kanye is suggesting that the ideal of White Lives Matter equates to the ideal of Black Lives Matter. And of course, black people don't believe that that is true. Black Lives Matter, because of historical significance, means something entirely different than the expression White Lives Matter. And so when you walk around as a black person wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter, you're belittling us and our cause. You're belittling the mantra of Black Lives Matter and what it stands for. You are turning your back on us. You're belittling us. You see us as something less than because you are sort of suggesting that all lives matter, specifically white lives matter, in a way that diminishes what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So those same people who are mad because a person like Kanye says what he has to say, or you could put other people in there, people like Candace Owens, for example, say what they got to say. Those same black people will then turn around and support bullshit like this. Like, this is what these people think of you. Joe Biden literally said on national television, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He said that on national television.
And they still voted for his ass.
Exact. So like, I find some of this stuff so funny. This man said on national television, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. This same guy got on YouTube and did a Q&A with Cardi B, who is the least politically inclined person that I can think of to be a spokesperson on behalf of black people in terms of what their political needs are. And I watched that session. It was cringy. It was horrific.
It was terrible.
She looked like she had no idea what she was talking about, and she was speaking from talking points given to her by others who were probably more knowledgeable than her.
Yep.
But she lacked the ability to articulate it in a way that was effective enough to drive the point home.
Mm-hmm.
The overall point, though, is this guy probably sat around in his focus group with his team and said, we need to get more black people out here. How can we do that? Oh, let's put out some rap songs and get some of these rappers because that's what they like and respond to. Oh, I don't care. Like, in order for you to not think that you will pay a penalty for saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black on national television, speaks to how assured you are that you can parrot that kind of speech and be good for it, because you know you're still gonna get that voter turnout because black people are slaves to the DNC. And you getting these rappers and these hip hop people who don't know a goddamn thing about what they're talking about, and you put them on YouTube. You putting them on YouTube, and you putting them on CNN because they know black people watch CNN. Like, black people, all I'm saying is keep the same energy. If you want to get mad because Kanye is wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, then get mad at this video too.
Right.
Get mad at Joe Biden when he says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Right. Get mad at the DNC and the Joe Biden campaign when they throw Cardi B out there like a sacrificial lamb to speak on behalf of you on YouTube. Get mad at that. You need to keep the same energy, because I'm going to tell you one thing. If the same message you think Kanye is trying to send by saying White Lives Matter, that's the same message that these people send with these types of videos and with these rappers that they put on these podcasts and these YouTube channels. They don't give a shit about you. The only reason why they're putting these people front and center is because they know you respond to this mind control. Like, I honestly, like, when I saw this, I just laughed. I honestly laughed. And the first person that I thought of was Kanye. And I'm not this huge Kanye apologist, but I am somebody who's a champion for things that make sense. Don't disregard everything that this man says because he's done or said a few things in the past that you find disagreeable, but you'll turn around and be in favor of this. I find that to be incomprehensible. I honestly do. And like all y'all out here who are such slaves to the DNC, like honestly, stop and frisk was a Democratic policy. 3 strikes was a Democratic policy. Those things did nothing but either put black people in prison or get them killed. I mean, did the Black Lives Matter back then? I don't get it. I'm confused. Like I'm being sent mixed messages. I don't know what I'm supposed to defend and what I'm supposed to castigate because we're all over the place with this stuff. We have no consistency. We literally have no consistency. I'm at the point now where if the DNC came out and said white lives matter, black people might be behind it because it's the DNC. And because they've been brainwashed to believe that everything the DNC does is what's right for black people. Now, they won't do that. The DNC ain't that stupid. Even though the DNC does believe white lives matter, they're not stupid enough to say it publicly because they don't want to potentially alienate the black vote. So what they'll do instead is they'll trot out rappers and LGBTQ entertainers and put illiterate, ignorant people who are a part of the hip-hop community on a national forum because they think that that's all they got to do to get your attention and to get your support. And it's disappointing. And some of y'all need to wake up. Some of y'all need to wake up and stop it with this groupthink mentality. It's gone on for far too long. I'm not saying that you need to sit up here and agree with everything Kanye has to say, but what you do need to do is think for yourself. And you at least need to have the mental wherewithal to look at foolishness like this, and say there's no place for this. This is what they think of you. This is what they think of you. And, you get everything that you deserve if you continue to support it.
Bro, 100%. I could not have said that any better myself. And what was popping in my brain was along the same lines. It was like, when are black people going to get tired of this? Because I've been tired of this. But when are y'all going to go, hey, that's offensive?
Seriously.
Like, honestly, bro, if the DNC came out with a man in a gorilla suit, bananas, sagging his pants,
yeah,
I'm hitting the polls, and then people would be like, black people be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna vote this year. Yeah. And it's like, bro, this disrespected you. You don't see this? They're like, what? What? The gorilla said I should vote.
Oh, and don't have the gorilla rapping. Don't have the gorilla rapping. It's if the gorilla's rapping some lyrics, it's over with.
Don't let it be an AI rapping gorilla. They're gonna lose their shit. They're gonna be like, "Whoa, I gotta vote now." What do you say? And I put the bipartisan, and now they're like, "Oh man, gerrymandering that coochie." And it's like, yeah, I'm voting this year. I don't care what y'all saying. I'm registered. And then the other angle, because when this first came out, man, I was all over YouTube seeing what people had to say about this. And the other aspect was the fact that they're playing on sex about this. Granted, it's from a dating app, but the fact that they have to sell sex to us to go out and vote.
Yes. And
that's no different than any other of the stereotypes associated with black people. That they're just hypersexual people. We need black people to vote. I know. Let's make a song that's centered around sex. You're not going to give up the coochie unless he goes out and vote. Hey, if he don't vote, you don't give him none. That'll be some what? Like I really wish I was a fly on the wall for that board meeting. For when those ideas was flying. It would have been no different. I don't know if you've seen that Boondocks episode where they were basically making fun of Tyler Perry and BET and stuff, where they're just in a board meeting coming up with the most jigabooish, coonish stuff you can think of and rolling it out. And then so it's just like, yeah, I mean, this got green lit.
Yeah.
There was papers written on this. Like they actually drafted documents. push through contracts, and now we're gonna pay you to, like, this was thought out.
Yeah.
And then so, and as a community, when are you gonna see that the people that you go support think this of you? And that's when I said, when are y'all gonna get tired of this? I'm nor Democrat nor Republican. I'm not telling you which way to lean or whatever. I'm telling you to think.
Yeah.
And if you have any rational thought in your brain, if you were DNC before this, you might want to reconsider.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in Hades that I would go out and vote for people who think I'm a goddamn gorilla. And I'm just gonna go out there and just do whatever. Oh, they'll do whatever. Just, like you said, give them a hip hop song. They'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as much backlash as I was hoping that this would get, because it got a lot, but it's not enough to deter people to not think how the liberals want them to think.
Yes, it's not enough for us to never see shit like this again.
Yeah,
That's what I think. I don't think it's enough for this to go away forever.
Nope.
So yeah, there might be enough enlightened people who are like, this ain't it, but it's not enough to where the next DNC political candidate running for president is going to say, man, let's, the African American vote, let's try and get a rapper. Let's try to get some rappers. Let's hold a Q&A. Let's hold a Q&A with a hip hop star.
Yeah, and I thought way back to Vote or Die with this.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's honestly when this started. Honestly.
Yeah, and would Diddy of all people? Puff Daddy cares about politics. Get out of here! And here he goes, shiny suit on stage.
Take that.
Vote or
die.
Yeah, take that. It's like, are you kidding me? And so now Diddy's a political activist. Stop. Cardi, like you said, Cardi B, and yeah, bro, I seen that too. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was so cringe.
You can't get through it all. Yeah.
First of all, it's Cardi B talking politics. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she's talking some street stuff, I might want to listen to that because she has an insight on that because that's her lifestyle. She's not a political pundit, so she has no business interviewing the future president of the United States. Yet there she was interviewing that man. That man's half sleeping, half senile. He has a faux pas every week.
Yeah.
Where he finished saying whatever he said, which was barely literate, then goes to shake a hand of somebody that's not even there. He does this every week. And this is the people voted for. So the thing is, bro, they don't really give you much options. They say Pepsi and Coke every year. I get it, and the people in my family, hey, lesser of two evils, man. Lesser of two evils. And they just lean that way. And it's just like, hey, man, if everybody keeps thinking that way, we're going to be stuck with Pepsi and Coke forever. So at some point, people are going to have to say, hey, look, I don't want Pepsi. I don't want Coke. And I don't want Dr. Pepper either. And it's like, well, what do you want? Well, I want real reform. I want real change. I want real this. I want real that. And if the people are saying it enough, then they're going to have to acquiesce somehow. They sell us every year, every cycle. They sell us what they think we want. That's why they commercialized woke. And when people out here are saying all of this air quote stuff that's woke, it's just like, hey, man, that's the commercial version of what people were saying years ago. But now they packaged it in this thing where everybody is this social justice warrior now. But where'd you guys get this fake ass woke rhetoric from? It was from actual people who were woke years ago who were saying certain things that actually prompted some types of change. So they had to come up with something to co-opt it. Same thing with Black Lives Matter. Initially, it started from actual genuine outrage. Eventually, it had to get co-opted and then commercialized. So, I'm saying that if there is some type of political awareness from people that are our age, younger and stuff like that, that actually have a voice and they actually want to go out there and hit the polls and do something, you actually got to go out there and do it. And eventually they're going to have to bend some type of knee to listen to you. But this type of stuff here is not the answer, because like you said, this is no different than if you ain't black, you ain't voting for us.
It's the same.
It's the same.
I honestly think it's the same thing. It's the same. It is the same. It's the same typecasting.
Yep.
It's what do these people respond to? It's like we're numbers on a spreadsheet.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we put this formula in and we'll get this outcome. And what's the formula? Oh, let's play to the lowest hanging fruit of what stimulates them culturally, socially. Oh, let's get the rappers out here. Let's get these entertainers out here. These same political people, these same DNC representatives go home and just dog out black people all day, every day in the very same manner in which they try to stimulate you. They go home and make fun of you for it.
Yep.
All of their hip hop music and their rappers and their entertainers and their basketball players and football players. Like literally, like that's what that and that's why I've often said, like, that's why I wasn't a big believer in this was years ago. We were talking about the NFL and their social justice initiative. This was after the Kaepernick thing happened. It was the dumbest, most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like, essentially, what the NFL was doing was they were trying to say that, sports players and professional leagues need to be held to account for American issues. And, it was easy to galvanize regular people behind that, because the idea is, what is the one aspect of American society in which black people do garner at least a modicum of respect when it comes to America as a whole? Professional athletes. So let's make professional athletes be the ones who are front and center peddling all this speech.
Yep.
Problem is, not all of them are informed. Not all of them know what they're talking about. And furthermore, a lot of them in their private lives don't even practice a lot of this stuff that you put them front and center to preach.
Yep.
You're putting Cardi B in a YouTube session with Joe Biden when she's making songs about finessing men and robbing people and getting guys killed. Is that democratic? This is what I'm saying. The contradictions in a lot of this strategy, I don't get it. And I'm not understanding why more people aren't seeing this stuff. But we're slaves to the music. We're slaves to this hip hop stuff, to the entertainment and all of that. And these individuals in these political spheres know this, and they use it to their advantage. They weaponize it. And it's like, it's never going to stop until, and I don't even, the word woke is so overplayed, but it ain't going to stop until people wake up and say, oh, is there a better way to go about doing this? It's not about going the opposite way and saying, well, I've been thinking this way this whole time, so let me think the opposite. It's just, bro, think for yourself. What do you think? And if you don't know what to think, crack a book open or get on Google and just do some independent research. The knowledge is the knowledge is not partisan in any kind of way. The facts are there. So, like, do some research on your own time so that you can come up with a more well-informed opinion for yourself. No matter which way it goes, left or right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, whatever. I'm the same. Like, I'm not either party. I'm a registered independent for this very reason, because you're not going to pigeonhole me into some form of brainwashing where I have to go one way or the other because my people are telling me I'm supposed to, even though that way has been hurting me for years. So, it's like, it's just, I'm waiting for the day that people start to look at stuff like this and say, why does this make sense? Like, it's going to be it'll be a good day. I don't know when that day is going to come, but it needs to happen. And it needs to happen fast, because they'll keep churning out these ridiculous sound bites and music videos all day, every day, because they fully anticipate you to juck and jive on the way to the polls to mindlessly vote for the DNC every 4 years or every 2 years.
Oh my God.
And then when they screw you over and you complain because nothing got fixed, whose fault is that?
Every time you get exactly the person you asked for and ain't shit changed. Man, but Malcolm X said this in the 60s. That in the 60s that they only trot out comedians, athletes, and entertainers whenever they have if there's a panel or something like that or something important that needs to be said. Those are the people they reach for. They don't reach for the actual scholars, the people who are actually, informed. No, they go grab the entertainers and the athletes, similar to what you just said. But they've been doing this. This is an old trick, and for them to still be playing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been seeing this type of shenanigans since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And so they're still keeping up the charade and the shenanigans, and it's like, all right, you can't still be buying this. Hell, even Dave Chappelle said it in his stand-up thing. Like, after 9/11, they wanted to interview Ja Rule. And
Yeah.
then he was like, "Where's Ja? I need to know it. Yeah, where's Ja? I need to know what he thinks about this." Nobody cares what Ja Rule thinks about 9/11. But here they go, reaching for Ja Rule. So it's the same type of stuff where it's like, who's hot in the streets? Cardi B, fire her up. Megan Thee Stallion, get her in there. You know what I'm saying? So and Santana, he's big in the LGBT community for sure. And so they fired him right on up. Trina, I don't know where they dug her up from. I'm like, Trina,
Yeah,
what
I
that?
wonder how that happened. Yeah.
I'm like, man, but between Trina and Trick Daddy's Eat a Booty gang, they are not representing the crib accurately. Like, they got us looking crazy down there. And it's just like, look, everybody from Miami ain't about the same stuff that they be out here doing. But I still love Trick, man. He's an unruly uncle to me. But yeah, man, this is hell, bro. We said it all right there. This is it's definitely a slap in the face. I mean, this should be a slap in the face to all Black people. Even if you were a hard-nosed Democratic person, this should really make you think twice about how they view you, because they're not as hard-nosed about you as you are about them.
Seriously.
Yeah. And so yeah, man, reconsider. And hopefully this type of stuff gets run off the internet. There's been enough backlash about this, so hopefully they come correct next time and actually give us something a little bit better.
Yeah, it really is very disgusting. I mean, you can say what you want about conservatives and Republicans, but they don't do this kind of stuff.
No, they don't.
And it's just disappointing. Like DNC, if you guys want to go and grab rappers to get Black people excited about voting, at least go get a rapper who is conscientious about this stuff. Like, go get Killer Mike. Killer Mike actually understands the political process.
Right.
Like, Killer Mike understands propositions, and he's all in that. He's into that alderman stuff, and he knows about the districts and all that. Go get him.
And he got bars.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and he can spit. So, like, yeah, go get Killer Mike if you really want to lean into this hip hop stuff. But they won't do that because that's not, and that just speaks to us and what we respond to. Like, we'll listen to Cardi B before we listen to Killer Mike, and
they'll listen to Trina.
Yeah,
before they.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong with that. And Killer Mike ain't the only one. There's a lot of others that actually understand this stuff, and it's like, look, and I can go on for days talking about my level of discomfort with the way that Black culture has been made synonymous with hip hop. I've railed about it. And that's nothing against hip hop. I just don't think that I don't think that our way of life as a people should be made synonymous with it. And I can go on for days with that. But if this is still where we are, I would at least prefer that we gain some representation within that context from people who are actually knowledgeable on the stuff that they speak on. And every now and again, they'll go and they'll pluck a Killer Mike or something like that. But you'll never see Killer Mike. First of all, Killer Mike will never make a music video because Killer Mike is not going to allow himself to be subjected to being a jigaboo. But they won't put Killer Mike on a YouTube show with Joe Biden because some real shit might come out, but they'll go and get somebody like Cardi B or one of these other surface level ridiculous rappers who want to get on there and represent you, but then will get in their music and talk about how they stealing money from you or setting you up to get robbed or shooting on their ops or finessing you in some kind of way or whatever other foolishness they talk about in their music. So it's disgraceful. And yeah, we'll go ahead and end it on that note. But hopefully more people, if there's a great enough groundswell, we can finally see this stuff stop, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I've been tired of it. I was tired of it when they did Vote or Die. I was tired of it. I was tired of it when they did the stuff with Obama, parading all of these rappers around during the Obama campaign. It's ridiculous.
My God, bro.
Jeezy. Look, I love Jeezy, but Jeezy making them songs and My President is Black. All the hip hop heads and the gangsters was driving around for days making that song when Obama got elected. And what did it do for you exactly? I don't know. I'm still looking for the evidence. So
that was a fun night.
It was a fun night. That was a fun night.
Oh, that shit was lit as hell.
It was.
But nothing else happened. That was the best night of it.
That song was on repeat. That whole for a good 24 hours, everybody was playing that song on repeat. The only time that I remember a song being on repeat like that was like Memorial Day weekend, like 05, 06. And everybody was just playing Rick Ross Hustling on repeat. That was literally the only song you heard the whole weekend.
Taking me
like
back.
You would have thought, yeah. Yeah. But it is what it is, man. But no voting, no vucking, man. Y'all need to stop that, man. Get it out your system, man. Seriously.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and end it on that note, man. Another Conscious Approach video in the books. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you are watching this video during the stream, like we've been saying, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, comment, share the video. If you're watching this as a standalone video, also subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video. We do this every week. We're going to up the ante. We're going to start doing these multiple times per week. Keep the content coming. So things are only going to move up from there, but we rocking and rolling, man. And we do this and dare I say, I think we do it better than most people who occupy this space, in my opinion. So it is only going to continue. Follow the Conscious Approach page on Instagram at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH. The website is also there, consciousapproach.com. If you are watching this video on the Meta page, like, follow the page, comment on the video, share the video, all of that good stuff. Be on the lookout. Conscious Approach will get a TikTok. I've been fighting it for a while, but I do think that it's the move because of this is a video medium, and so we need to be in video spaces. Also, be on the lookout to download the audio of this on gonna be uploaded to Spotify everywhere via RSS. We're gonna start an RSS feed. Get the audio version up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that good stuff, man. A lot of good things coming down the pike, so stay tuned. You can follow me currently on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. So as I always like to say, man, we appreciate you supporting logical content.
Yes, sir. And the name is Dogon SS. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon SS. Or you can find me here on the Conscious Approach. Hey, all right. And as I always say every week, man, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it even, kill, keep it calm, keep it chill, and keep it player. Don't let anybody get you off your pivot, man. If you have a moment of peace, don't let somebody that's hurt try to rock that boat. You understand? So stay in a calm, chill place, man, and you'll be all right out in this crazy world, man. But yeah, man, as JV says, bro, we really appreciate y'all for watching this and subscribing and liking and hitting that bell notification, by the way. But we really appreciate you guys for watching. It just gives us more ammunition and more gas to keep on doing this, man. And like he says, man, it's free, man. Help us out. We're trying to do our part of bestowing some level of consciousness in this world of vucking.
Very well put, sir. I like that. Was very well put. You know what? On that note, we have nothing left to say. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. That's a perfect way to send it off. Until next time, we certainly appreciate you for watching. We will catch you on the flip side. Peace. We'll see you later.
Skirt, skirt.